Quarterfinal Extreme Masters live here in Sao Paulo. We had an exciting game one between paiN and Isurus Gaming, and now we're going to the game number 2 between these two teams. The crowd, definitely the favorites of paiN.
Yeah, they seem pretty happy about their result. I mean, they just started roaring and just blowing air horns and everything. I don't know, there might be like trapeze artists or something come in later.
I think they do come a little bit later, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
we see the bounce and all that happening.
Okay, we'll see that later today.
Yeah, but we're gonna see what's gonna happen in this game. Obviously, you know, we were talking about the last game before we went to the break. paiN did really well early on, and then they seemed to struggle a little bit. They got a little too cocky, and Isurus was finally able to kind of get in there and kind of get a hold on that game.
A lot of that is just on being really greedy in team fights, like over chasing targets, not protecting PRTT, who I think is one of the stars of the team. I mean, if he's allowed to just do what he wants to do, he's just going to tear your team apart. He has really good mechanics, and I think they just need to keep that in mind. And also be more objective focused.
Yeah.
Really didn't like the Dragon Control, and the Baron basically came after they just got in some random team fight they should have never gotten to begin with. So it didn't feel like either team was focusing on objectives at all. They were just kind of running into each other and dying. And we're actually in bans and picks right now.
Yeah, I really want to see what both these teams are going to pick up here. The Yasuo, was that really hit or miss for you, or were you convinced by it?
I really don't want to see it again. It like hurt me a little bit inside. Like, oh, nice, you walled behind you, and then okay, what the hell are you doing? You know, it just did not look good. I mean, I liked their team comp. It looked like it had a lot of synergy. It could have been really good. They got some really nice fights off. Remember, Zach caught out the Gragas.
Yeah, Neri did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he did a really good job. But I just didn't like the Yasuo play with it. It looked really ugly.
All right, well, picks and bans are going pretty fast here, actually, as we have paiN are going to be on the blue side. We're going to have Isurus over on the red side of the purple team.
It's a Caitlyn ban, too.
Yeah.
This is actually a ban that I see a lot, but I never feel like you should ban an AD carry. I mean, there's just too many AD carries. There's, like, too many safe AD carries, too. I mean, there's Lucian that's up. He's a very safe pick. I mean, Sivir's still pretty safe. As long as, I mean, I guess maybe they want to rush into a Caitlyn. I think they might want to rush into a Sivir pick. They might want to first pick Sivir with this. But I guess actually they're going with the Thresh on this. I think Thresh, since they nerfed Annie with the last 4.1 patch, is probably the strongest support in the game right now. He has probably the best laning phase, and he is strong at all points in the game. So I really like the Thresh pick.
All right, well, we do see the Thresh picked up right away here. Over the other side, though, we're going to see Chalito back on Shyvana, and we see them picking up Lucian this time.
Yeah, you think? I'm actually curious if they're going to go for the Trundle counter pick again on that. The Lucian pick's pretty good. It's a safe pick overall. You don't really know what the rest of the team looks like. And Lucian pretty much works with all team comps. So I like that pick right there. Okay. Not sure how sold I am on first picking the Shyvana. She actually did a lot of work in that game, but the Trundle looked like he controlled her pretty good in those team fights. So.
And the thing is, in laning phase, it's not like he lost to her either. I mean, he was ahead in CS for pretty much the entire time in the laning phase, and then when they finally left the laning phase and started grouping up, he fell behind. But yeah, definitely right. Definitely too powerful, but we're going to see
the Draven. Okay, I like that pick. I really like the Draven. It's so funny seeing people get to like max adoration stacks and then just get 1,500 gold and like money in the bank. You know, pimping ain't easy.
And BRTT, okay, so you guys remember Freeze from EU LCS? He was pretty much the first Draven player we really saw. BRTT was playing Draven before even him.
BRTT playing Draven for him?
Yeah,
I mean,
even before him.
I think Draven's been pretty popular throughout the regions, like both EU and NA, even in last season. Especially, remember when he had his bleed? And he just like two-shot you in the lane, and you're like, oh, it's like that's Draven. Just like, oh my god, all my life is gone.
Well, we do see Olaf picked up for paiN's side. What's your thoughts on that? Maybe that'll be in the jungle? I would assume most likely there.
It's definitely going to be in the jungle. Olaf's actually a pretty good pick against Annie. I mean, you can just run straight through a CC and still just run in and gank the lane. But Lucian's a pretty good pick against Olaf because his dash move removes slow. So even if you get hit by the axe with the Olaf, you can just dash out of it and you won't be slowed at all. So I don't think there's going to be too much ganks going on in the bottom lane.
All right, well,
the Volibear pickup too. Jeez, I think that's going to be the jungle. I've been seeing some people playing Volibear in the jungle. His all-in burst damage pre-6 and even at 6 is just insane. Like the execute on the W, he will literally take 30 to 40% of your health with just one move, just instantly kill you.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then of course they don't have a very mobile AD carry. Draven of course has his movement speed increased, but he doesn't have a jump move. So if he gets flash and fling to the team in a team fight, he could just get instantly popped.
Yeah, we can talk about protection because paiN, they were doing a good job at the beginning of those fights in the last game, but then they finally realized that, you know, BRTT is being left alone and Sony needs to protect him, and it looks like they're going to go for, I don't know, they're sitting on Maokai right now. I would like to see Maokai.
This would be the first time I've seen Maokai in, okay, well they actually locked it in. I have not seen Maokai since, Okay, that's how long it's been since we've seen Maokai. Like, we can't even remember. It's been like season 2 or something. I mean, I'm a fan of him. I really like playing him in solo queue. But that actually means Olaf's going to be top against the Shyvana, too. And picking Maokai into an aggressive jungle like a Volibear or Shyvana, that's just like asking for trouble. Because if at any point Volibear is there to counter gank you, he will instantly kill you as Maokai. Maokai is very fragile, very, very fragile in the early game. So I'm really surprised that they went that Maokai pick.
And now they're sitting on, well, they were sitting on Swain right there, but I guess we can talk about paiN's composition just a little bit here. They do have Maokai, though, for the ball delivery system, which helps out so well. You have a way to facilitate that.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's just, I'm just not sold on it. I don't think his early game is going to be strong enough to get to that point where he's tanking. I think he's just going to go in a team fight, and he's just going to instantly get popped. They have, the Andy is probably just going to CC him when he comes in, and they're always going to focus him and kill him. And the Karthus pick is kind of interesting into Orianna. Karthus gets a little bit pressured by Orianna in lane, and she definitely has kill potential in him, but Karthus can farm that lane out, and he can put global pressure on the lanes. So I think that's going to alter a lot of the lane matchups. I think Isurus will have the they're going to have the upper hand in the bottom lane just because of that Karthus pressure. And of course, Annie, when she hits 6 plus Karthus ult, I mean, that's going to be a dead thresh for Draven.
Well, we're going to see how it's going to develop as the game does go on. I'm actually worried about the Volibear Karthus kind of combo because you have Karthus to slow you down so you can't escape. So
you're going to like fling you into the Karthus defile.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's very dangerous.
This is a really weird team comp. I don't think they have that much synergy. I don't really see too much synergy here. I think they just want to win it out in the laning phase with Karthus pressure. So a lot of this is going to be on if Karthus can get snowballed, he can get those kills in the laning phase, and he can get that massive amount of ability power and just start. Because once you get late game Karthus, you just press R, and half of everybody's health is gone. But I think if paiN's team comp can go into late game, I think they'll win for sure. Maokai is really good against AoE team comps like that, or Karthus abilities, and really good against locking down frontline people. Because Shyvana and Volibear are going to go in, Maokai is just going to be this brick wall in front of them. He's going to be hitting them with his knockup. He's going to be rooting them. And I don't think anybody's going to actually be able to get to that Draven in the back line if it goes to the late game. Because it's all on Maokai how he plays this early game out. Because if he doesn't play the early game out and he gets and he gets counter gank, game's going to be over for them.
All right, well, we are getting underway into the game in just a second as we do get hit with a pause right away. But from what you've been saying, I mean, paiN, you can correct me if I'm wrong, paiN, they want to just survive the early part of the game. They want to be able to get into that late game kind of position, and Isurus, they kind of want to be able to win early.
But I don't think you can just I don't think you can just survive against a Volibear. I mean, Volibear is one of those jungles that he's up in your face, and he's going to get off some nasty ganks. So, I mean, Shyvana and the Karthus aren't really good lanes to gank off of, so maybe you see Volibear in the bottom lane a lot. All
right, well, they seem to have a couple of quick issues we'll solve in just a second, but I want to see how this game's going to go because I'm in your boat when it comes to Annie and Olaf. I'm really worried on how that's going to work late game when you're depending on protecting your AD carry, but all you really have is, you don't really have anyone that can stop an Olaf from getting to you.
I mean, nobody can really stop Olaf from getting to anybody. It's just more on if Lucy can get fed enough to where he can kill the Olaf on his own. Because Olaf is one of those champions that has, he has a timer on him. And eventually, you're going to come to the point where the AD carry has enough tank stats and enough damage to kill you in a straight-up fight. But, of course, in the early and mid-game, if Olaf's running at you and he has like a Randuin's, you're not going to do anything to him. And he'll probably just kill you by himself.
It looks like the problem is on Isurus' side here, and obviously they realize that we're one game away from being knocked out of the tournament, and they need to be able to pick this one up to stop paiN from advancing on into the semifinals here, which will be played out tomorrow. But the thing is, they didn't look bad in game number 1. It just seems like there's a couple of things that really kind of slipped out of their fingers. I mean, they weren't able to control objectives, or at least take them right when they came up. And the team fights, I want to give them credit because they took advantage of the cockiness and the aggressiveness out of paiN in those dives we saw on the inhibitor turrets.
On the bright side for them, the crowd didn't boo them when they came on the camera again.
That is true.
I mean, they're moving up in the world. They got some good stuff going for them now. They may have lost the game, but they've earned the crowd's respect.
That's always a good thing, and and if they take a game off paiN, then they're definitely going to earn even more here. And I don't know, paiN, I mean, as a player, obviously you know all about this, being one game up in this best of 3, like what's your mindset right now when you win a game like that?
I think that goes from team to team. I think some teams thrive in that, and when they drop that game, like, all right, man, we got to like rally together, we got to pick it up, and then they just go on some like killing spree. I think Gambit is really particular about that. In a lot of their tournaments, they've had to where they've kind of dropped the game here or there, and then they'll just come back and just like run a team over through the whole tournament. They'll end up making it to the finals and just clean sweep.
You know all about that at Katowice
Yes,
last year.
I know about that at Katowice. Yeah, they had like a really poor group stage, and then they just like ran over the Korean teams like they didn't even exist.
They scraped by off of time too,
Yeah,
which is the funny thing. It's like they could have been knocked out, but then they survived to the next day and then beat Azubu, well, at the time, Azubu, Blaze, and Frost 2-0.
I think some teams just need a little bit of warm-up, and they need something to get the steam going. And, I mean, maybe Isurus is one of those teams. Maybe they're gonna have the comeback game on this. Maybe they just needed to warm up.
As you can see right there, they're very high in spirits. They're just joking around with each other, not really too I mean, I don't want to say they're not focused, because obviously they're focused, but they're kind of just being lighthearted about this right now, and they're enjoying themselves.
I mean, I think a lot of teams do that. I mean, of course, there's pressure here. You got the crowd, you got everybody watching you, and a lot of people watching the stream. I think the most important thing for teams when they get into this is just to boost your teammates up and get them in the right mindset, get that confidence going. But there's a lot of plays that you won't go for if you're not confident.
Yeah, and well, I mean, over on Isurus' side, the thing is they're in such a tough position because they're one of the 3 Latin American teams that actually are here today, and they're fighting for their region of the world. And they want to shove in us. There's a lot of good teams that can come out of Latin America. They've been playing. If correct me if I'm wrong, I think you said earlier that a lot on the North America servers.
Yeah, Lion in particular, I think is the main team that I think they don't even play on any of the South American servers. So.
Yeah, I was researching these teams earlier on. Let me just take up my notes real quick, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Isurus. For instance, Nariat, Challenger on Latin America South. So at least like they just show up there and just do practice against the teams, at least in scrims. We have Dynamox Diamond 2 in North America, Diamond 1 in Brazil, Challenger in Latin America South. The Smart Diamond 5 in North America, Diamond 1 in Latin America South.
Nariat is actually one of the oldest or the longest playing pro players in the scene. I remember playing against him in the Season 1 World Championships for the qualifier for it. And he was playing on Rock Solid at the time with Boy and Locust was on the team, and Skara. So, I mean, this is going to be a little taste of Dignitas, I guess, since they can't make it to the tournament. Ooh. But yeah, Nariat definitely has a long history. And I think we're actually back in the game. Hopefully they don't pause again.
Yeah, I believe all the problems have been fixed here, so we're getting underway here with game number 2 between paiN Gaming and Isurus Gaming. paiN 1 win away from advancing into the semifinals. Isurus 1 game away from losing this one. And level 1, do you expect to see anything sneaky coming in here from either of these teams?
I mean, you got Annie Stun and Volley Bear Flip, but it looks like they're just going to stare grimacingly at each other once again. Like, they just sit there and they just make this little line. I don't know.
That's exactly what happened in the first game, though. I mean, obviously teams were swapped on the other sides, but they just held that river, that line of scrimmage. Didn't want to go for anything aggressive. And in Isurus' state right now, like, should they go for something aggressive? Should they try to make a play happen right now?
I mean, this is another game where paiN Gaming has that jungler that really needs blue buff. Last game they had the Amumu, and this game they had the Maokai. So I think that they really should be looking to control that blue buff. I would actually initiate a 2v1 here. I would send my 2 people top, and I would late invade that Amumu. I mean, late invade that Maokai to try to deny him his blue and try to shut down his early game. Because like I said, this game all depends on how good Sir T does. If he gets that good early game and he manages to make it out of that, they'll probably win the game. And it looks like Isurus is not really doing anything to control that.
Well, I think I spoke too soon because they still have 4 people over to this top side. They actually put the ward down. They spotted Sir T, but they decided to back away here. And will they go through the top side? Will they try to invade from the top side of the jungle? Yeah,
actually looks like they're going to go for the late invade. I am incorrect. That or they somehow hear me up on the stage.
Could be either. Not sure. But I don't know. It looks like Isurus realizes that we need to do something here, just like you were saying before. It looks like they're going to try to control this here, but paiN, can they steal it away? Can they smite it? Are they going to put a ward down? They see they get the flip on Sir T, who just kind of sits there. I'm not really sure why he didn't do anything.
And yeah, he just stood there like a deer in the headlights. He's like, oh God, it's a bear. He just got flung into the team and died.
Well, just like that, we see the first kill go over to Chalito, who had a really strong game. He didn't really build damage like you were saying you wanted to see out of him, but to get first blood that early on and that easily, it just seems a little weird.
Yeah, that's going to be massive. Shyvana will go to bottom lane a little bit late, but he's only really going to miss 1 wave of XP, which in a 2v1 is not that big a deal. This Maokai, though, is going to be so far behind. He has to not only solo his red, but he doesn't have a blue buff now. So watch his mana after he gets done with that red buff. He's not going to have any mana. He's going to be chunked so low. So you're not going to see any early game presence out of this Maokai.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for him. And Nariat, he has blue. He's taking his own red as well over on the top side of his jungle. But these 2v1s, you were expecting this, and you were right on that. But how do you think these fare? Like, who benefits more, Olaf or Shyvana in this 2v1?
I mean, both teams have good 2v1 champions. Olaf can farm with his axes, and Shyvana can farm with her flame breath. And they're both really tanky and hard to dive. So it really depends on this Volibear. He actually might try to dive that Olaf. The Olaf has Ghost. He doesn't have Flash, so I'm actually wrong. He is a pretty good target to dive just because he has that Ghost. I'm glad that they see this. Really good play out of Isurus. It's just, can they execute the dive properly?
Will Venom know it's coming either, and he has to assume something's happening here. He actually does get spotted. He's actually trapped into the stun. Does go on a Venom here. e.sport tanking up the turret. We see the red buff happen. The Ghost just popped here, but he's not even trying to run away. He's just trying to survive, and the turret actually aggros over to Lucian. So another kill going over to Isurus right there, and that just seemed a little too easy for him.
Yeah, I mean, he has Ghost. He doesn't have Flash. Once that Annie stun hits, I think Annie went a little bit too early, so they didn't really link up their CC and their damage very well. If he had Flash, maybe he could have gotten out of that situation a little bit better. He probably still would have died, but he could have chunked them out a little bit more. But you see, everybody's full health here, and they're not really scared of the Maokai. Remember, the Maokai is level 2. He didn't get blue buff.
And this is really interesting, is that Sir T, he hasn't invaded for the blue buff to take away from Isurus. It's still available right now because Nera is on the top side, went for that gank. And I wonder, in your opinion, is that maybe a mistake? Because he probably knew he wouldn't defend that turret anyways by himself.
No, he actually played that perfectly.
Oh, he did?
He
Okay.
went and he took the blue buff and he took the red. And the top lane, when you dive it,
Oh, no, sorry, I meant Sir T. Why didn't he actually invade and take the blue buff away?
I mean, he doesn't have any knowledge of it.
Oh,
By the time they saw the Volibear, it's already too late. Like, he's already up at the top of the base, and he's already diving. It's a little bit too late.
Well, we did see paiN actually take the Bob turret in response here, and taking a look at early CS, you have 30 CS for BRTC compared to the 21 of Genfix, and we see blue buff actually, looks like everyone's kind of collapsing in around it on Isurus. Just want to make sure they can defend against us here. And
I think they're actually trying to make a power play on Dragon.
Oh, wow.
They have a very good Dragon team. The passive on Volibear allows you to tank Dragon out very well, and also Shyvana's E does percentage-based damage to the Dragon. And of course, Karthus is really good at doing major objectives. It's just, I want to see how paiN Gaming decides to contest this, or if they even decide to contest this at all.
Oh, the stun does land on Minerva, who actually did flash to get away to get some range here, and they're still taking this Dragon up. It's doing a lot of damage to Nera right there, and it's getting very low. We do see the hook, unfortunately, is not landing for Minerva. We just knocked them away. We see Serti coming in with the flash, or sorry, not the flash, the spike comes in for Nera. They do get the kill, but the fight's still going down towards the bottom side. You see Genfix pushing out. I believe that was Annie towards the top. Not Annie, sorry. They're actually going straight for Thresh right here. Thresh is getting low. Minerva's going to drop. The Ignite is not going to do anything, and they're chasing out BRTT, who does have that flash to get away. So actually, doesn't have the flash. Look at the wrong side of the map. But he is going to escape. We're going to see another kill go for Isurus and Dragon on top of that.
I got to say, that whole situation was from a lot of hesitation on paiN Gaming's part. You even saw it. The Thresh tried to throw the max range hook. He walked up and he flayed them away. All their initiators were kind of really scared to go in on that fight. If I were that Thresh, I would have flashed into their team, flayed them into our team, and then just start railing on them while Dragon is still half health. Because you have to make them, they have to make a choice is whether they're going to fight, finish that Dragon, or are they gonna turn on paiN Gaming. So I think that paiN Gaming did pressure them enough. They were too hesitant and they're a little bit too scared to go in for that contest on Dragon.
Well, because of that, they're now down 3-0. They're down about, well, getting close to 2,000 gold as well on top of that. And Isurus, they're looking like a completely different team than we saw prior. And Chalito's even picked up a Doran's Blade because he's now 2-0. He only has 6 CS, so he's down quite a bit in terms of that. But look at overall gold, he's still ahead about 400.
Yeah, he has 2 kills. He has that top tower gold. He has the Dragon gold. I think he's pretty happy right now. I think he just wants to get a couple levels. He's only level 3 right now. He's just going to hang back because potentially Venom could all-in him and kill him, but I think he's just going to wait for that wave to push into his tower, and he's just going to farm it there. And
you're seeing paiN actually group up middle here, try to put some pressure onto that turret, but you do see Lismar actually show up and keep them pushed away here. In the meantime, you're actually seeing Genfix over towards the bottom side. He's actually just farming up here, and he's actually catching up and will surpass BRTT in just a second.
It looks like he's actually trying to freeze this wave. I mean, that's a pretty smart play because there's not really an objective to go for, but you can see mid lane is really pressured right now. paiN is pressuring really hard, but it looks like the Karthus is just going to be able to farm all that out. He's level 6, so he has 3 points in Q already, and he can just clear that wave out on his own, looks like.
And he has the mana too to pretty much hold this pushback for quite a while, which definitely helps them out quite a bit. And you see, Serti was trying to go for somewhat of a bit of counter jungling here, but he's actually being followed by Nariot right now. It looks like he's visiting to top side. And we do have another pulse coming out. I'm not sure which side it actually came in from, but it's a really interesting time to have a pause, because if you're paiN, you're down 0-3, and if you're Isurus, you kind of have this high going for yourselves. Realizing that you're ahead in this game and you can pull this one back to take yourselves to a game number 3.
I mean, I think paiN can come back out of this. It pretty much is going down how I thought it would. They have a weak early game, and a lot of this game hinges on Maokai getting basically not getting run over. He got beat up pretty bad in the early game. He lost his blue. But I think if paiN Gaming plays the team fights right, and they just kind of slowly farm out this game, and at least just don't give up too many dragons, they can make it to the late game and come back against Isurus.
Right. Well, let's see what happens, because we do see an advantage, at least in the hands of Smart. He's got a sight stone already built up. He has those 3 assists. He has that early extra gold. He went straight for that. He even had a Doran's ring on top of that for a little bit of extra harass. I guess that kind of showed that they wanted to go for that 2v1 on the top side, and they wanted to make that early kill happen.
Yeah, I see a lot of Annies. They just opt for the Doran's ring instead of the Doran's shield. And I think that's definitely the way to go if you're going to be 2v1ing anyways. You're not going to really be getting that much gold generation off of killing creeps if you get the gold per 10 items. And you just want as much damage as possible if you're planning to do that dive. And it looked like the way they played that early game, they were planning to do that dive from the start. So good item choice by her.
Well, we're only 7.5 minutes in here. I'm not actually being told just yet what the problem is, but I'm sure we'll get that told to us just a second. It looks like it's the same person's actual PC too, so maybe everything's going to be done with him in just a moment. But this game, I mean, we can look across the CS as well. We currently have Venom, 44 CS to the 18 on Cholito. But you were saying that before, you know, obviously Cholito has his 2 kills, so he's pretty happy right now. Just trying to catch up in terms of levels, but the game has gone back underway here, and Certainty is just going to visit this top side, not go for a gank. But look who's in tail. They have, sorry, the rest of the team currently coming up from middle.
Yeah, this is a really strange play. They want to 4-man push this top turret. I guess they feel like they can get it because Shyvana, of course, is a little bit behind in levels until that wave hit. Looks like they're just going to bully it down, though. Really late rotation by Isurus Gaming. And the reason this is happening is because, remember, I was talking about the Lucian was freezing bottom lane. So they're free to just put whatever kind of pressure they want.
And they go in for the flip on a Venom into the back of his team. He still has the ultimate available if he wants to escape. He did pop his ghost right there, though, just to make sure he does run away. But we do see Lucian pushing middle here, and Isurus, they actually turn this aggression around. They forced him back off his top turret. They kept it alive. And we're going to see Gentex pick up quite a bit of damage on this middle turret.
Yeah, I actually really like what Lucian's doing here. He's putting pressure on the mid turret. He's forcing Orianna to come back to the mid lane rather than helping out top.
This is really unfortunate if you're paiN Gaming too, because Kami, he wants that blue buff, he needs that blue buff, but it's just being taken away since Isurus had the timing out at the beginning, since they stole it away right off the bat. They're going to lose out on this one, and because they took their own blue a little bit later, paiN won't have the timing on it as well.
Yeah, and both junglers are actually pretty behind on levels. Volibear should be a little bit higher level right now. He's only level 5, he just dinged it off of sharing the XP on that blue buff. And the Maokai, of course, is level 4. He's not going to have any blue buff, of course. But interesting note about this, the change in the Spirit Stone I think helps out Maokai a little bit more because it allows you to sustain your health and your mana a little bit better than the old Spirit Stone did.
And he's actually at 26 to 14 CS, so he's leading in that in some sense. He's actually at 1800 to the 2200, so he's not that far behind in gold. Those blue buffs definitely could make him a little bit higher level, and now you see it's just the ones. They're going for aggression on this middle turret. They spotted out BRTT bottom, and they won it.
Yeah, nobody's in position to defend this. Even if he hit that hook on that Shyvana, I don't think they would quite have the follow-up damage to kill her. She's level 6 now, she has her ultimate, so she would probably just jump out of that. It looks like Draven's just trying to push up bottom lane. Dragon comes up in 1.5 minutes roughly, so I think he wants to get that bottom wave pushing so they can all get set up and ready for Dragon.
Well, they're going to lose the turret in middle off this either way, and to give a little bit of extra gold over to Isurus now. That does go down in the hands of Cholito, and they're already heading down towards this bottom side. It looks like they want to catch out BRTT, or at least take away the red buff, and they're going to do it that one.
Yeah, this is a completely different team than we saw last game with Isurus. They're doing really good objective control. They're controlling all the buffs. They're rotating. They're taking towers very fast. I really like seeing this. Maybe this is what we're talking about, where they're just getting that rallying game. They just need to build up steam and just need a little warm-up game.
Yeah, that momentum, it can become very dangerous if you're a paiN Gaming side now with what Isurus has been able to do so far. But like you said, Dragon up in about a minute here, and that's really where you think the action might go down. But will paiN actually try to contest it? I mean, yeah, it's not that far behind, but they also have a lot of damage still behind him just because you have Olaf.
I mean, both teams have pretty good Dragon fighting team comps, but I'm not sure. I think it's all going to be on who gets the better engage.
Okay.
And paiN Gaming's engage is a little bit wonky. I mean, they can hit a Thresh Hook. They can have Maokai rooting in. They can hit an Orianna ult. But I think if Isurus is on top of like flashing those abilities or watching out for those, or if any or like a Thresh Hook misses and they counter engage on that, I think that they could just get sweeped, especially with this 2,000 gold lead.
And I really wonder how this game's going to go off of this next Dragon too, because I mean, yeah, Dragon, it has been changed a little bit. It's not as strong early on, but it can definitely give you at least the motivation for paiN and the confidence to start, you know, control, or at least trying to control their own jungle a little bit better. But Only 11 minutes in here. We do have still a big CS lead for Olaf in the top side.
Yeah, Olaf just ported back to base. It doesn't look like they're going to try to go for the contest on the Dragon, though. It looks like their confidence is a little bit beat down. I guess it's a smart play. I don't think that they would win the Dragon fight, to be honest. That Volibear is looking pretty scary, and Shyvana is pretty tanky, too. Yeah, so I think it's a good play to just not go for it. I think, though, Olaf should have stayed top with more pressure up there, though.
Well, with that early Ancient Golem rush out of Nary, like you're saying before, he's very, very beefy right now. We do see a BF Sword coming in for Genthix, so it looks like he's going for that Bloodthirster as that first item. And over BRTT, he's still on about 1,600 gold, but hasn't bought just yet. He looks like he wants to farm up a little bit more before that happens.
Yeah, I mean, they see that they're pushing a bottom. He has to stay down there and help hold that. But Maokai is actually pretty good at clearing out waves, especially if you put more than 1 point in your E. So I think they're going to be pretty good about holding that.
Well, they do lock that one down. It seems like Isurus, to me, it seems like, I don't want to say cheesy at all, but they're trying to catch paiN off guard like multiple times. They're trying to counter them or, you know, push a different lane where unknowingly to Isurus, they're already there.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's cheesy. They're basically
cheesy,
they're trying to win off of lane rotations and by turret control. And they don't want to give paiN the chance in the breathing room to farm and to catch back up. They want to be controlling those objectives. They want to be like, hey, we're at your tower. Are you going to come like try to stop us or not? Are you going to be up top farming, or are you going to come stop this tower? And it looks like paiN literally have no answers. They have no clue what to do. You can see Olaf is just running back and forth mid like an idiot. He has no idea what he's doing.
I wanted to tune on that for just a second, but yeah, just like I said, we do see it just pick up another turret of the game. That is a third for themselves to the one only on paiN, and they're still in the vicinity to maybe go for a fire now. paiN, maybe look for something themselves because Karthus is not there just yet. Dynamax is heading down from top, and you're seeing Kame kind of realize where he is and just kind of force him away, but there's still all 10 members, 13 minutes in, are on this bottom side of the map, and Isurus, they're still pushing down.
Yeah, I think it'd be really dangerous for Isurus to try to go for this bottom turret, though. Even though they do have this gold lead, I don't think they have... Nobody even has an item completed yet. I mean, Karthus has a Tear and a Catalyst and a Blasting one. He doesn't really have any of his core items. Shyvana has no core items. You got Spirit Stone and Volibear, and no BT on the Lucian, so I don't think that they should be trying to force this objective just yet.
Well, they do wisely back away right there. Looks like they're going to head back home here and buy up a couple of items. And still on a decent amount of gold. We see Chalita sitting on about 1,300. We see Genthix sitting on about 1,300 as well. And looking at the other side, I mean, just look at the wards that we have down in the hands of Isurus. They have wards everywhere in the enemy jungle. And it looks like they're definitely trying to control that and contest it. But we do see blue buff is available. And you already see the pings come down out of Isurus. They want to contest this. They want to be able to make it so paiN can't get a single blue buff.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to take this one away from them. They don't seem like they're in position. But one thing to note off of that bottom push that they did is there was a pretty huge wave that they had pushing in top, and the tower ate up all those CS, so the Olaf's not going to be able to recoup any of that farm.
And it's really unfortunate for him, and that CS lead that he was able to build up is starting to dwindle away a little bit here. You're seeing it just go for that invade, but they're going to be a little bit too late here, and they were able to take red off of it last time, but I'm not sure if they're going to be in position to make that happen this time. They will spot, though, BRTT is bottom, and that might give them that option to go for a push on a top lane. And Venom, he has ultimate available. He actually pops his ghost a little bit prematurely right there.
That's a little strange. I don't know. He just wants to run around really fast. Maybe it'll scare him off.
Oh, it doesn't look like it's doing that, unfortunately for him. He does get stunned up. He does still have his ultimate available, though. We do have Genthix joining towards the top side, as well as Dynamax here. And if they can just get that flip they need, they might be able to pick up a quick kill and force a turret. And you're seeing BRTT went back to base, completed his Bloodthirster, and is heading up towards this top side return. And as you were pointing out earlier on about the waves being shoved in and being pushed up, middle just ate up an entire wave as well.
Yeah, I think that's the main goal that they're trying to do with this. They don't want them to be able to catch back from the farm. They want to push and make these towers eat these waves, and they want to make the enemy team fall behind on XP and gold. So pretty good play by them, but this is, the funny thing is you usually don't see this kind of play with the Karthus. The Karthus, usually you see like an extended laning phase. You want to get kills with the Karthus ult. You want a laning phase where you're going to be able to collect a couple kills, wait on your ultimate to come back up, get some more kills, wait on your ultimate to come back up, and you play a slower game with Karthus. So it's really interesting to see them going for this kind of fast rotation, fast push comp.
And what about the items that we see, picked up here? Chalito, he's going for that Sunfire Cape. We look at Venom, he's going for pretty much the exact same build he had last time. Looks like Ninja Tabbies, that Negatrunk Cloak, and that early Vamp Scepter.
I'm not quite sure he's going to go for a Hydra or a Blade of the Ruined King in this. I don't know. Olaf can go with so many different builds. You can build him DPS or tank. Looks like, yeah, he's going to go for more of a tank-oriented build. I think that might be a Randuin's or a Sunfire, so. And of course, Ori just finished her theme, so she's losing those blue buffs is not going to be as big of a deal for her anymore.
And we do see Isurus going for red buff here yet again. This is the second one taken away the game for themselves. They've been all over paiN's jungle, and you pointed this out earlier, I just want to bring it up again, is that Isurus could look like a completely different team. They're controlling objectives a lot better. They're roaming around a lot earlier on, and there's about a minute left on Dragon here, so I wonder if we're going to see Isurus go for another Dragon off the bat, because they were there last time right when it came up.
Yeah, it's a minute till it comes up. The Draven, I think, should stay top and keep pushing. I mean, he sees most of their team in the bottom lane. I think he needs to be putting more pressure on the top lane and force Isurus into a bad situation. But said he's going to come down here and try to hold this turret. It might be a little bit too late for him to get there, though.
And paiN has some good wave clear, too. I mean, you have the Orianna, you have that Olaf to just land the Q across the entire minion wave. So I would have to agree. They definitely could afford to go for that. But then you think about the flash engage. Less smart if they want to go for it. If they really want to dive under a turret, which I want to assume they're not really willing to do right now without really any armor items completed.
Yeah, they don't really have that many items completed yet. The supports are so behind in levels right now. The Thresh is level 6. I mean, the Annie's level 7. She should be about that level. She's roaming out with her team. But it's just so painful to see a level 6 support at 17 minutes in the game. You could just die. I bet you Carthus could ulti, and he would just, like, die. You go to, like, 100 health.
I mean, he's sitting on currently 112 AP. Almost has rank 2 ultimate, so it's very likely. And you're seeing Isurus. They realize Dragon up in about 8 seconds. Let's ping on it. Let's get there. And they're going to be there yet again here. So just completely 180. Complete 180 on their entire team. And I'm actually glad to see this. I'm glad they can take the loss that they just had and come into this with a fresh new mindset and be able to take paiN, you know, to over a 4,000 gold lead.
It doesn't look like paiN is ready at all for this. They're coming in pretty late. Minerva has like a somehow negative hit ratio on his hooks. Somehow he's hit less hooks than he's thrown. I don't know how it's possible.
I don't think I've seen him hit one on a champion yet.
Yeah,
player.
I gotta say I don't think they should have first picked the Thresh. He looks really unconfident on it. I don't even think he understands how to play the champion. I'll go as far to say that.
Well, I mean, if you think back to how Dragon happened, when you were talking about him, you know, harassing him a little bit earlier on, maybe flash play into the team, and I think that might be what you were talking about. But we just see a gank bottom lane, Genthix getting caught here, overextended. We're going to see paiN finally pull back and kill for themselves, and the crowd who's been silent this entire time just woke up.
Yeah, they're like, oh, wait a second, wait, we might win. Cheer for him, guys.
Well, right now we see really nothing for Isurus to take currently. They have 26,000 gold to the 22.2. You see pings coming down on that middle turret, so that means that they're going to try to defend against this. And here TT has that Bloodthirster done. They're going to get some good damage onto it, but Dynamux with that blue buff, it's going to be really hard to push past that to wait for it. Oh, we see the flash right there. He doesn't get the flip though. The anti-stun comes out. Oh, 3 people! Carthus is sitting in the middle of his world. BRTT's going to go down, and Isurus are chasing down. There's the Carthus ulti, the first one of the game. Minerva's going to survive for a very little bit as Kami's able to run away from the rest of his team. So paiN coming out the victors of that fight, taking down 2 people, taking on the tanking area, and only losing BRTT because of that. But will that be it?
Yeah, I mean, Carthus has a lot of ramp-up time. He went with the Roa build with the tier, so he doesn't have that much AP yet, and he's not going to have that much AP until he finishes Archangel. So once he hits that power spike, I think paiN actually might be in a lot of trouble, even though they came out ahead on that team fight. And I think they made a mistake by not pushing bottom with their 2 people they had bottom after they got that kill either, because they knew everybody was mid, and they knew they had them occupied there. I think that they should have pushed with the Olaf and the Draven, or wait, was it Maokai? Or whatever. The Draven should have kept pushing bottom and putting more pressure on that turret.
And the blue left will be going over to Kami here, and we do see CRTT actually catching out Genthix yet again. But will they come in for the fight here back to back? We see Lismar gets a stun onto him to keep him backed away, but he gets called the hook. The first one from him, it's all flag! They're gonna get the kill on the Annie. BRTT picks that one up, and he has 2 kills now after being quiet this entire game.
All right, see, he finally got to the hook. He hit a hook and somebody died. I sense a trend here.
Oh man, I think that's typically how it should go out of Thresh.
Yeah. But you just actually have to hit the hook, so that's the hard part.
But paiN, they've been playing like they just woke up, like they were sleeping for the first 17, 18 minutes of the game. And if we think back to how that engage started middle, that was a flash at a Nariot who didn't actually flip anyone.
Yeah, these are some really wonky engages. These team fights, I mean, they don't look clean. It's not just like, nice, you got the pick, and you're going to kill this guy, and then we're going to wombo them. It's just more like, let's run at each other and hope we both kill each other. I don't know what's going on here.
And the thing was, because I wanted to point that out specifically because Nariot, he was doing so well on his engages on Zac last game, but he just seemed to be struggling right now.
I mean, he actually, he's behind on CS on the Maokai. Remember, the Maokai has not had a buff the entire game. That's because he's been grouped with his team this whole time. And I'm not really a fan of the boots of mobility either on Volibear. If I'm gonna go a boot like that, I'm gonna go boots of swiftness, or in this game I'd probably go Ninja Tabby. I want to be as tanky as possible on Volibear, and I want to be able to scrap it out. But as you saw, when he got caught mid lane, instantly died. So, I mean, he is building a little tankier, but he has no magic resist right now. How much does he have? He has 56 magic resist. So if that Orianna and that Maokai can combo him together, he'll just probably pop.
Well, speaking of the Orianna, look at the items that she's picked up. You know, Haunting Guys, Sword Boots, that 59 magic resist pretty much turns into like 30 or even less than that. It's
almost doing true damage to him at this point. So, I don't know. I think he needs to get a Negatron cloak in here or something. The Polybear is just going to be really squishy until he gets some magic with this.
Let's see how this does develop. And the thing is just they had control of the game the first 17 minutes. But paiN, they seem to have finally been able to control the back. They've been able to control their blue buffs, able to get over to Kami a couple of times now. And Isurus have stopped grouping. They have stopped trying to go for that group pushing, trying to catch the lane swaps happening on the paiN side. And it seems like Isurus kind of like, oh, well, we thought we'd be winning a little bit more right now, and we're kind of stuck what to do.
Yeah, it looked like they lost a lot of steam after they got all those outer turrets down. They have been picking up a lot of dragons, but they don't really seem like they know what they want to do. I mean, they're not sure they should group and push or they should split it out. And until Dragon comes up, I don't think that they really understand what to do right now.
Well, we'll be up at about a minute 10 here, and that 4,000 gold, 2 to 4,000 gold that they've been able to develop over the across these 20 minutes has dwindled down now to about 1,400. So it's going to be really unfortunate for Isurus, but trying to hold on to this turret here. We see even the Colin coming out, trying to push that wave back out as everyone recoups here, and we're seeing Chalito. I believe he is spotted in this general direction because of that ward, because he was trying to harass from the middle. But he's actually just going to head down bottom, try to get, or well, maybe not head down bottom. He's going to try to go for, I want to say a sneaky engage here, but it looks like
I don't think he's going to be able to get much with it, though. And that bottom lane is going to be cleaned up by Draven. So he'll have that wave pushing in their favor by the time Dragon comes up. So I think you're going to see a pretty big Dragon fight going in here. That or paiN is going to just say, screw Dragon and push up middle and take those turrets for free. Looks like they're going to try to get set up for it, though. They're moving into the Dragon pit. I think this Dragon fight is going to be really huge for either team. Because, to be honest, I think it's coming to the point of the game where if you win this Dragon fight, you can probably snatch a Baron off of this.
All right, well, let's see if that does happen in about 15, 20 seconds right now. And I want to point out before we get to that Dragon is that look what paiN have picked up in terms of their trinkets. They have 3 sweeping lenses. They invested that early on. We see the hook actually land on Jejethix. They're going straight in onto him. They burst him down instantly. BRTC picks up that kill, but now chasing that Dynamax, who's being chased down from this. Olaf gets exhausted, but he doesn't care. He's freaking Olaf gets the kill, and just like that, they pick up 2 very quickly. We see the ultimate coming out of Carpus, Minerva getting very low. He does get the play before he does get picked up. But still, what a fight coming out of paiN right there. It's a 2-for-2 trade overall.
Yeah, it's really good that you noticed the sweeper trinkets because they managed to... Oh god, Annie actually ended up killing the Olaf by herself. The little girl just took out that big-ass Viking. But yeah, it's good that you brought up those sweeper trinkets right before that fight because that's how the Thresh got that hook, is because they cleared out all the vision, they didn't see the Thresh sitting there in the brush, and he just got the hook for free. It was a blind hook, and they were walking over to try to, I guess, control Dragon area, which they showed up for a little bit late. Jesus Christ, that Andy just got chunked so hard. But yeah, and they just showed up for late for Dragon. Like, they killed all the Dragons before this. They should be the ones waiting in position to control that Dragon and to basically be waiting for a pick on their own. They should be waiting with Annie in some brush or Volibear in some brush to initiate on paiN Gaming and have the vision control there. But they just didn't have any of that.
And what's so weird about that fight as well is that paiN was the one to initiate it. Or sorry, it was paiN. I was thinking the other way around for some reason, but they came out actually behind, even though they initiated. They lost 3 people to the 2 only on Isurus's.
Yep, Karthus finally has his Archangels completed, so he's going to hit a pretty big power spike off of that. His AP is going to go up pretty substantially. He's at 279, and before he was like, I think at 130-ish. Yeah, it's pretty substantial how much AP he just got off of that. So I think he's going to be more of a force to be reckoned with in these team fights now.
Why don't you walk us through the rest of the items that we see coming in as well? Because Chalito, Sunfire Cave done, Randuin's Omen almost completed, but we do have the Randuin's done on Nariot now. Yeah, the Olaf he's just piecing together whatever he can get his hands on. He's like, oh, like this cloak thing, this looks cool. Maybe this chain vest, like maybe I need that. Like he's not really trying to finish a single item right now. I think he might go for the Sunfire here since he is sitting on the Giant's Belt and the chain vest, and then I don't really think he's going to build a Thornmail here or a GA, so it'd probably be a Sunfire. And he's also just sitting on that Bilgewater Cutlass, I guess, because he wants that extra slow. And a little bit extra AD and lifesteal is pretty nice on Olaf as well. And then the Maokai is opting for the Locket Rush again, because he wants to be able to prevent a lot of that AoE damage from that Karthus. And then, of course, Ori, somewhat of a Oh, the hook, it lands on Annie. They're going to go for the fight. Annie's going to go down. And the vision, the ping board Fade right there was able to pick up that kill, and paiN just seemed to have Isurus' card read. They know exactly where to go and exactly when to fight them.
Seems like Minerva just randomly learned how to play Thresh all of a sudden. He's hitting like every hook now. Yeah, pretty big change from what we saw before. And he's actually going for that really late coin item too. He wants to get the Shurelya's now. It's funny because he went CDR boots before he ever finished either his gold item or went for the Shurelya's. It's kind of weird that he did that.
Really interesting to see that picked up, and we do see Sunfire Kate completed just like you were pointing out earlier. And I wanted to take a look at the AD carries because BRTT, he was doing well in the early game. He was farming. He hardly ever really got caught. He's now 3-2-1, and he has a Bloodthirster, Static Shift, and Last Whisper completed. And I want to bring this up specifically because last game, it was all about the AD carries being able to take down the tanks that would rush at him, and we're having that same thing happen again.
Well, you have to remember when Draven got that kill in the bottom, when they were 0-3, he had a lot of Adoration stacks built up. So I think he probably got around 800 to 900 gold off of that one kill. So all those 3 kills that happened before, Draven doesn't care. He's just going to build up all his Adoration stacks and then just get that one kill and just catch up to you right away.
And it's a great job by paiN. I have to give him credit. I mean, they're almost taking the lead. 1,000 gold difference between these two teams. They're tied up in kills, and considering how the game started, I mean, Isurus just looks so damn solid, taking away pretty much every single buff they possibly could. They went for that early dive on the Venom top lane, got the kill, went up 3-0. But paiN just seemed to finally figure out what to do here. We're going to see Venom get caught here, but he does have that Ragnarok. He's going to be able to run away here. But that actually is, I want to say, a win for Isurus because without ultimate being available, he can't chase his
ultimate.
Oh, he didn't though?
Yeah,
okay,
he just got sped up by the Orianna W and just managed to run out. I mean, he's pretty tanky, so I don't think he's too scared about getting initiated on by that. And you're coming into the same situation that happened before, is these teams don't seem to understand there's other objectives on the map rather than Dragon and the outer turrets. They don't really want to pressure the inner turrets, and they don't really want to try to control their blue or their red side jungle. And they don't really want to control Baron. There's so many objectives on the map right now that they can be looking to move on in vision control and to look for picks and to progress the game. And instead, it looks like they're just waiting for something to happen.
And we do see off of that, I mean, because I was thinking about the trinkets for both these teams. We do have another super lens picked up for Isurus. Seems like they don't want to get caught in that position yet again of getting hooked over the wall. But in terms of levels, it seems like the supports have finally seemed to have caught up here a little bit. We see Minerva at level 11, LeSmart at level 10. So Minerva actually caught up and surpassed LeSmart off of these last 8-10 minutes.
Yeah, they've been grouped for so long. I guess the Annie just fell behind a little bit. And yeah, she's usually been in a group of like 3 or 4 people. So Thresh has also been picking up a lot of kills, which gives them a lot of bonus XP.
And right now we do see Isurus, they're kind of grouping up here inside the jungle. Shyvana is going to come up from the bottom side as well. And as we've seen before, you land a hook, you get a kill. That's pretty much how it goes here. Minerva's been finally able to step up and land quite a few of those. But we do see the random omen now done for Cholito. And I have to say, I mean, Shyvana has been doing a fantastic job of farming. He was down quite a bit of CS. He's now at 171 to 127. I wonder if we're going to see the impact come into these fights.
Yeah, he has 2 fully completed items. He has Random's Omen and his Sunfire. A lot of armor. Not much in the magic resist department, though. I mean, I know Shyvana has pretty good amount of MR from her passive. But I think Orianna's going to be able to chunk him out really hard since she went more of that flat pen build.
And right now, we see everyone on Isurus actually backing away, going back to base here. Look, they're trying to buy up right before this dragon does come up in about 30 seconds. And Kami going to do the same as well, go home here. And a lot of ward's been invested by paiN's side to gain control, to gain vision of this. Because if we look towards the tops of the jungle, I mean, they're going to spot them coming in pretty much from anywhere here.
Yeah, it looks still like paiN Gaming. I mean, they may have the vision control. Like, look at all the wards. There's like this pentagram, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, pentagon of wards going on here. 4-sided, never mind, what am I talking about? It's like a square of wards, but there's 5 of them.
Learning shapes was same.
Yeah, learning shapes the same, man. This is hard. Nobody said there'd be shapes in a lot of League of Legends.
I'm sorry, I forgot to put that in the little packet, but here we go. We're seeing both teams group up for Dragon here. We see the sweeper lenses coming in here, and Cholito might get caught out a little bit. Oh, he's actually chunked quite a bit, and Surti going straight to the backside on the list part. He gets hooked, he's not gonna get the stun off just yet. He flashes over the wall, the stun comes in, the Orianna ultimate just pulls them together and Nariot and Cholito, who are so tanky, doesn't have the magic to survive. BRTT's hiding him! He gets the kill, he's dodging the Corvus, he's dodging the dodge ultimate. Will the shield be enough? No! He gets taken down, but
Game
they get an
Draven.
ace!
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about before we went in this fight. That Orianna, he hit Shyvana with just 1 combo, didn't even ultimate him, took him to half health instantly. And nobody really has that much magic resist on Isurus. Like, they, for some reason, forgot that Orianna was in this game. I mean, Orianna has a death cap completed, her themes. She has a massive amount of AP. And I don't think that she's the one you want to be ignoring in this game right now. She has 400 AP before she's bought.
And the thing is about Orianna is it's very black and white for them. At least the way I've seen them over the spring and summer split of ULCS is that if they don't do well early game, they don't keep farming, they don't get the items, their damage is really minimal. That's why we call it the mech wave. But right now, I mean, even though they were down those 3 kills, even though he wasn't able to get his blue buff, or the first blue buff that he was able to get, he's 2-0-8, 262 CS. He's been doing a phenomenal job of staying in this game and really being a backbone for his team.
Yeah, I think that's one of Orianna's strengths is just she's a power farmer, and if you let her get to that late game situation, she will control your entire team. And she's actually, she's very good versus Isurus team comp. Siobhan is going to be running in, Volibear is going to be running in. Karthus, of course, has to go in pretty close to do his damage with his Defile. And it just lines it up perfectly for Orianna to counter-engage.
And we do see BRTT, he's picked up a BF Sword and the Spectral's Cowl, so it looks like he's going to be going in, I'm assuming, for his Infinity Edge if he wants to momentarily, and
yeah,
also has that Magic Resist.
This is actually was this one of the first times I've ever seen the blue trinket purchased on somebody?
I don't even know the name, that's how many times I've seen it.
Yeah, it's the
Greater Orb.
Greater Orb.
So he upgraded as well.
Name. Yes, he upgraded. I mean, the vision range you actually get on that, since they changed it, is really far, but I'm still not sold on getting that over a sweeper trinket or even upgrading to get the pink ward. Kind of a weird pickup there.
And the thing is, it's funny because they have an Orianna to spot, to get vision if they need to. If they need to check bushes, they have a Thresh with the Lantern as well.
They have Malachi with his sapling. Like, they have so much vision check.
Oh, right now, Chulito, he might get caught. I just popped a wall over that ward. The ward over that wall. There we go. That's the correct way to say it. So he does force them back away. And they do force him off this. And paiN, for one of the first times in this game, we've seen them the aggressors. They're the ones pushed up into the enemy team's territory. And they're going for this turret. And that thing is just dropping so fast.
Yeah, that turret's just gone. They killed that in like under 2 seconds. It's instantly gone. And the crowd seems to be really enjoying that.
I remember, what, ward kills back at Worlds in Season 2?
Oh, God, don't remind me.
Oh, the good times. But we do see Isurus, they're pushing out finally. We do see paiN with a nice gold advantage currently, 50,000 at 46.3. They have the turret lead, they have the kill lead, they have the lead basically everywhere across the board.
I like what they're doing here. They're using their sweepers. They're getting control of that red side jungle. They're denying all vision. And they have a little bit of war coverage around Baron. I don't think that they're going to quite go for it since they have that wave pushing in bottom. I think they just want to spend their gold. They got a pretty nice push off top, and they got quite a bit of gold off of that. So I think they're just going to go back and buy, get some gold, get the waves pushing out, and then maybe start trying to control Baron.
And speaking of gold, I mean, you see BRTT sitting on 1,500. You see Kami sitting on 1,500. We saw Vedon sitting on 1,600 towards the top side, but he actually has completed his Blade of the Room King.
Yeah, the Draven caught up so fast in the gold. He's, I think, what is he, 4,000 ahead of the Lucian now? Yeah. I think that Adoration actually kind of paid off there. And that's one of the best things about Draven is you get just that one nice kill with the Adoration, and you're, like, back in the game. So, yeah, I mean, you can see he almost has 6 items at this point in the game. It's only 34 minutes. I think he's trying to finish that Infinity Edge before he gets maybe a Banshees, I want to say, he's going for here.
I would assume that, so we can't get, like, flipped, but or actually any stun as well.
Yeah,
he
finished the Banshees first. Right. I think that's just, yeah, he doesn't want to get flipped. He doesn't want to get Karthus ulted. He doesn't want to get initiated on by Annie. Really a smart purchase by him, going for that rather than finishing the Infinity Edge first.
And right now we see paiN still grouped up here. They keep saying for Isurus' side, Chulito off by himself to farm up. He's currently sitting on 206 CS, over 50 to his opponent in the lane. But he hasn't really been offering too much in these fights because paiN's just been able to control him and shred through him with Kami. Yeah,
they just have this really good disengage. Like, Malachi is going to peel anybody that's coming in on the team, and you have Orianna to disengage the team fight. Yeah, and Orianna just does so much magic damage right now, and they don't really have any magic resist for that Orianna. She
almost doesn't matter now, yeah.
And hunting guys completed, so she doesn't really care if you get a Negatron at this point. So I think it's a little bit late on that Locket pickup by the Volibear. I don't think that's going to save you now. That Orianna is pretty scary.
Well, Dynamax has been able to complete his voice stuff as well as a rod, or not Death Cap, sorry. Needs a large rod on top of that. I wonder if that will actually go into a zoners or a Death Cap to get the extra damage or the extra survivability.
For on a Karthus, I would say it's probably going to be the Death Cap. I don't think he's planning on making these team fights alive.
All right, now we do have Chulito coming in from the backside. He was spotted earlier on. They do know he's there now because of the great ward coverage that paiN has been able to put down so far. And they still have those 3 sweeper lenses and the 1 greater orb picked up over on paiN's side. And Isurus, they're kind of enjoying all this free farm that they keep getting, because paiN hasn't really forced many objectives lately. All they've gotten was really that second top tier turret.
Yeah, the Thresh is going back, I guess, to get more wards. And he also has Mikhail's Crucible completed, so that's going to help out a lot if the Annie does end up getting a good CC off on somebody. But that's really their only CC outside of a slow that Isurus has. So I don't think that this Draven is going to be dying anytime soon with the Banshees and the Mikhail's backing him up. And of course they also have Locket out of the mecha. Okay.
I think that was like one hit out of Orianna, one combo, and Narek dropped to about 2/3 life.
Yeah, it's like I said, he just doesn't have the magic resist there. That Orianna is a monster right now, and she's definitely the scariest member.
Oh, there's the Annie flash, so it hits no one. They flash out of it, Kami dodged it, and they turn right around the ult out of Orianna, hits nothing though. And Cholito comes in from the backside, Narek gets the kill to Surti. Now paiN are being forced to run away, but BRTT's so healthy. He can force this fight if he wants to as Minerva drops, and Isurus pick up 2 kills with that wonky engage.
I think that was a contest to see who could miss more abilities from each of the teams. Yeah, Annie, and Orianna's like, yo, you missed your ult? Like, I'll show you. I'll miss my ult too.
Oh, but paiN, it's got to harm a little bit, unfortunately for them. They did use a lot of flashes. Kami, actually, that was a fantastic flash dodging that Annie flash Tibbers right there. He's able to keep him alive and still put on that harass. I think if that Orianna ultimate hit though, that would have been a very one-sided fight.
Probably the end of the game right there.
Oh, Kami!
Oh
he ran right into the ward and gets picked off by Genthix. What a great play by him. Quick reactions, and Dragon is available, but right now paiN, they're going for it quickly, and they just might be helping out Isurus, or they might be able to get it.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Orianna just didn't move down to get that Dragon. That's free global gold. Dragon scales in the late game. It's probably going to be, what, 300 gold for each person at this point? Pretty big objective. Yeah, it's 257 gold for each person. Pretty big objective at this point in the game. And I think that they should have been looking to control that a little bit more than trying to get some chip damage off and getting shot with the Gats.
Yeah, the thing is, Dragon, I mean, when everyone's 16 or average or higher, it's 1,500 gold total.
Yeah, that's pretty massive.
And Baron's 1,300.
Yeah, you actually get more gold from getting the Dragon than you would get. I mean, of course, you don't get the buff, but I think really what they want to do is they want to get some gold. They want to get... Yeah, they just want to get everybody 6 items and force Baron. And they should be really controlling Baron right now. I have no idea why they're not.
I mean, you pointed out magic resist so many times, and that extra gold that they were able to pick up off of that Dragon might have just got them a couple of items they need, maybe not. We'll find out obviously as the game goes on. And why do you think that neither team is really contesting or trying to control Baron? Because paiN, they have a great team to really force it, but I mean, yeah, you have an Annie Sun, I guess, to really watch out for, as well as a Karthus who can just sit in the middle of Baron Pit and hit every one of you with his
yeah,
Defile.
But they have Shirelias and Mikhails and Banshees. Like, if I were them and we were doing Baron, I wouldn't really feel that confident that Isurus could hard engage on them. Like, they can just start Baron, see what the other team's doing, see if they're going to contest it, and then can just back off. Like, they don't have to fully commit to this Baron. And I think that they should realize that. And they need to be putting more pressure on that. And it looks like the Volibear still says screw it, and he doesn't want to get any more magic resist.
Just building that health up.
Yeah, same thing with the Shyvana. They just don't seem to care about this. Maybe they're banking on Orianna missing her ult and ulting herself again.
Maybe. We'll find out obviously as this game goes on a little bit later. 39 minutes in here, and remember, it's just they're fighting for their tournament hopes here. They need to win this game to keep their hopes alive and advance in the semifinals. Where paiN, they do pick up this win, they will be advancing on. And semifinals, I mean, it's pretty much once you get there, I believe you get into Katowice. So a lot on the line here for the World Finals for Arrington Extreme Masters. And right now, both these teams still being very hesitant.
Look at that massive wave that is piling bottom. That's probably over 1,000 gold worth of minions right there, and it's a lot of XP, and that's just going to be fed right to that turret.
Oh, the flash hook, it hits nothing. Unfortunately, Dynamax, look at how low he got. Off of one combo, he's just sitting right by the ball. He did get the Zodies off. He's able to escape here, but you see the Thresh Box able to lock in Cholito. The ultimate coming on Karthus is not going to do that much damage, and paiN pick up that quick, easy kill. They're going to push on his turret here, and I wonder if they can pick up an inhibitor as well.
Yeah, it's a nice hourglass by the Karthus, but he just got chunked out way too hard to be able to go back to the fight. And he doesn't have his flash up either, so if he did decide to come back in, he probably would have just died for free.
Oh, and you see the damage on Listron right there. I mean, that's still 2/3 of his health just from one quick combo to Kami, who I believe he does have blue buff, and he pretty much has that full cooldown reduction that he needs to keep spamming these left and right, and it's getting really difficult. Dynamax did use his ultimate last fight, though, so they're not going to have it for this one, and they're going for that engage on a BRTT, but look at the damage he's doing to him! He takes him down by himself with really no help from his team. They're going to keep pushing in. They're going to go for this turret as well, and with Surti there with that twisted advance, Isurus has to get this up. Look at the damage that Annie just got taken. Surti jumps on top of him. They have the backup for the team. That is going to be called. Funk even lands on a jet, and the Orianna ultimate shreds it down. That is an ace coming out of paiN Gaming, and most certainly it's most likely going to be the game.
That's probably going to be the end of the game. Orianna just used her ultimate in the team fight before that, and guess what? It's already back up again. Does he have a blue bot on right now? I know he has a blue buff. Okay, yeah. So such a short cooldown on his ultimate. He managed to use it 2 times in one team fight.
And Cholito, he's going in, he's trying to do something here, trying to defend his base. He gets taken down. The ace comes in yet again here, and paiN Gaming are going to go 2-0 against Isurus Gaming, advance into the semifinals here at Intel Extreme Masters Sao Paulo. And that crowd, I mean, you hear how happy they are with that victory. paiN, I mean, you can walk us through how the game started, how they were so far behind, and how they came back into that.
They just didn't know what to do after those outer turrets went down. I think they should have been pressuring more with the Baron. They should have been Baron controlling more. They should have been looking to control their jungle and their buffs more. And they just let them catch back up.
And it's just, I mean, paiN, just fantastic job. It really showed their team, their core, is that they can really come back from that. They can still play solid. And I mean, real quickly, BRTT 6-3-8. He wasn't really behind the beginning of the game, but that one kill he got with his adoration stacks just completely slingshotted him back into it.
Yeah, he just went from being behind, like, oh my god, I'm just poor Draven, my mustache is all flimsy. And then he just got that one kill, and he turned into a beast. I mean, he was like 2-shotting the volley bear at the end of the game. He's like, I don't care about you, bear. Just throws an axe and instantly kills him.
Yeah, fantastic. And I mean, Kami as well, 5-1-12, 335 CS. His damage was just ridiculous in that game, able to push out the tankiest members of Isurus and also zone out Smart so many times from getting it like an initiate.
Yeah, Kami did an amazing job of catching back up, and I think it's not just on him though, but it's also on Isurus. They're a little bit MVP for him because they didn't build magic resist. They just didn't care about this really fed Orianna. This Orianna does so much damage, and every team fight that I saw it started with the Orianna instantly taking half of somebody's health.
If not just completely one-shot.
Yeah, just one shot. It's like, yeah, half health, one shot, whatever, same thing.
And Sir T, I mean, he didn't get one blue buff the entire game, if I remember correctly. He got like one red, that was it. Then the rest of his team took everything else, or Isurus took it.
And he actually managed to catch up and get pretty much almost the same items as the volley bear, who was counter-jungling him, harassing him the whole game. And that's really on Kami. He managed to hold it out for his team. He managed to keep the waves to where they weren't taking those inner turrets and give Maokai some breathing room to catch back up.
And what's kind of funny is if you look at the roles of both junglers, for instance, Sir T's job wasn't to survive, it was to catch or prevent someone from getting into the team, where Nerit had to stay alive.
He was an initiator, he was a follow-up. Somebody would hit a hook and he would just follow it up, and after that he would just go back into his team and then try to peel for the fed Draven and the fed Orianna. And just to be honest, I really liked Isurus, what they were trying with their, but they didn't have the proper team combo. Like Karthus is just not that good for a fast push, rotate, take turrets kind of team combo. I would have liked to see a different mid, like a Gragas, if that came in, would have been amazing. Something that can deal with the Orianna and can start fights and initiate fights. But they didn't. Who are they going to initiate with? All they have is Annie, or like a flashling from Volibear.
And we saw, unfortunately, paiN was able to quickly react to that. And I mean, it's unfortunate for Isurus, but paiN will actually be advancing to play against the winners of Furious Gaming and Ocelot World. I'm not sure how that game's going to go down. I believe that actually comes. And Friends. Also, it's World and Friends. But that game will be coming up as the first one of the day tomorrow. But paiN, I mean, the crowd behind them. The first Brazilian team that has showed up today advances on into the next stage. That's got to be big, and that's got to be a lot for the rest of the teams to really kind of to catch up on. But in the meantime, I'm just going to head over to the stage with an interview with, I believe, BRTT from paiN Gaming.
Thank you very much, commentators there. Ladies and gentlemen, paiN Gaming are your winners of Game 1, and I'm joined by BRTT. Great to see you again. It's been a long time since we've spoken. I think the CS days from years and years ago. I want to talk to you about the first game to start with. St. Fisher said that he felt you guys were a little bit greedy in some of your team fights late in the game. Is that maybe why things didn't pan out the way you thought they would in Game 1?
No jogo 1? Durante os dois jogos eu estava um pouco ganancioso, estava indo muito além do que vocês deviam. Esse lance de ser ganancioso nas teamfights sempre acontece, ainda mais em presencial. A galera quer ganhar o jogo logo, quer finalizar, mas a gente está fazendo todas as jogadas com muita confiança, com muita tranquilidade. É isso. They got a little greedy, but
Okay, I think your mic might need to be turned on at the bottom. Maybe you can turn it on. Basically, they felt it was okay in terms of confidence and what have you. Second game, the picks were very interesting. We saw Maokai come out, which we don't see very often. What was the thought behind that? So, what was the thought behind the Maokai pick?
Ok, qual foi o tópico de fundo que você gostaria de falar? E qual foi a tática de fundo?
Ele perguntou do Maokai, não? Ele perguntou do Maokai, não?
Exato.
O lance da gente ter pego Maokai, Draven, essas coisas que não aparecem muito, é tentar levar o jogo pro early game, finalizar o jogo cedo. Mas aconteceu que houve um imprevisto, né? Que eles dominaram o early game, mas a gente ficou calmo, a gente treinou bastante, a gente estava confiante que a gente ia conseguir virar o jogo. Eu estava com muitos stacks da minha passiva, eu sabia que se eu pegasse uma kill eu ia ficar muito forte. Então acabou que eu consegui pegar a kill e a gente voltou pro jogo.
Yeah, they pick up like Draven and Maokai for not something that they usually pick. It's just that they were very confident that they could win. They would really want to try to bring the game to the late game. Even though they had dominated the earlier game, they were really confident that with these characters and those abilities, they could win on the late game, and really the late game was like all theirs.
Okay. You guys had to be much more patient in game 2 because things didn't really work out early on. Maokai got caught out. Suddenly you were 3-0 down in kills, 3K down in gold. Turrets were falling down everywhere. What did you guys talk to each other about at the start of game 2 when things started to go wrong?
Quando vocês começaram, tava 3, 4 kills na frente, eles estavam 3, 4 kills na frente, 3, 4k de gold na frente, e de repente pareceu que vocês iam tomar uma super surra. E o que vocês conversaram durante?
O que aconteceu foi, primeiro foi o dive no top, a gente ficou de boa, a gente já previa aquele dive, não era para acontecer, mas aconteceu. A gente não ficou nervoso em nenhum momento, a gente estava deixando os dragons, não tinha como contestar. O que aconteceu, a gente não deixava ele levar a segunda torre, conseguiu ficar dando um clear wave e levar para o late game, esperar um erro deles. Foi como aconteceu que eu peguei uma kill e cresci muito. O Kami também conseguiu farmar bastante de Orianna e levar para teamfight. A Orianna na teamfight é boss.
They said that even though they were taking a beating in the early game, that they took a dive that wasn't supposed to happen, but after that they kept calm, they farmed a lot, and they kept like pushing, not letting them get the second tower, and always pushing, always with trust, always only getting into fights that they could win. So he could get a couple kills here and there that turned him out to be pretty strong, and they could push forward to the rest of the game.
Yeah, pretty strong is an understatement, I think. Well done to BRTT. One final question for you. What do you think of this crowd in São Paulo? How good are they?
O que você gostaria de dizer para a galera de São Paulo aqui?
Respeita, neguinho!
A perfect way to end our first game of the day. League of Legends is underway. The quarterfinal one goes the way of paiN Gaming. And while he goes backstage to take a well-earned drink and cool down a little bit, that's also what we're going to do here at the Intel Extreme Masters. A 20-minute break. We're all going to take a little bit of water and chill out for a while. We'll be back very shortly, though, with another game from the quarterfinals of the Intel Extreme Masters, Sao Paulo. Don't go too far.